Welcome to my tutorial on double bed Jacquard. This tutorial is designed primarily for users of the Birdseye series of knitting machines, and this one is done on a 950i. To get this technique, this is a Birdseye Jacquard, you will need the 850 ribber, which has the lily buttons on the lower portion of it. So it has these knobs which, if you click them outwards, you can make the rib go into a 1-1 formation. This example is going to be done using one of the stitch whorl patterns that's built into the machine. I'm going to do the penguin pattern, which is pattern 528. This pattern was also one of the punch cards on the original double bed colour changer, so if you do have a punch card machine you can use the punch cards and the same principles apply. So basically I'm going to start off with 30 needles to the left of 0 on the main bed and 31 to the right of 0. On the river bed I've then got an even number of needles, 30 to the left and 30 to the right of 0. It's really important that the river has an even number of needles because the lily setting will not work without it. It doesn't really matter what amount you have on the main bed, and I found an easy rule of thumb to make sure the ribbon needles are correct is to have an even number on the left of 0 and an odd number on the right. But whichever way you do it, the ribber has to have an even number of needles. The ribber should be set to half pitch, and to do this technique you will also need the fine knit bar, which is the little plastic bar that comes with the ribber. You might not have known what it was before now, and the double bed colour changer mast, which has four slots for colours in it, obviously we're doing 2 colours of this technique. However, the tension on this mast is just so much better than you'll get on the original mast, so even if you're only doing 2 colours it is ideal to use this mast. And the colour changer itself, now before we start I'm going to work the background colour in black and the contrast colour in white. So I've just loaded that contrast colour into the second slot. I'm not going to go to the ins and outs how to use the colour changer, and then I'm going to leave the slot 1 for the background colour in loading position, and then I'll go into that in a minute when we get to it. So I'm going to set my main bed for 0, my ribber bed for 0. I'm not showing you how to do any fancy cast-ons or ribs or anything. It's just a basic cast-on for double bed Jacquard. Which you probably won't use most of the time, but just for demonstration purposes and for practice, this is the quickest way to start doing double bed Jacquard. So I'm just going to do my zigzag row to the left, so slide lever 2, 0, 0, and then I'm just going to get my cast on comb, line it up at 65 to the right of 0 with the edge of the ribber comb, and it's a bit of a wonky. Okay, and then just slot that end into your cast on comb, and I'm going to use 3 weights. 2 of the large ones on the outside of each side and 1 large one in the middle. This is my minimum amount of weight I use to double bed Jacquard, because you really do need a lot of weight to stop the knitting from hanging onto the gate pegs as you go past. If you do a much bigger section of knitting you'll obviously need a lot more weight. And then I'm just going to do a normal selvage, so slip button to the left on the main bed and slip button to the right on the ribber bed, and do knit 3 rows. Now I'm going to set the tensions for the double bed Jacquard, so I'm going to do 5 on the main bed and 4 on the ribber bed. Now you can experiment with these numbers, this is just a basic number that can work. I'm working 2/30 yarn, so I'm using 2 strands of white and 2 strands of black. I always have the separate cones on the floor, or I wind off a separate colour onto a cone, like this one here. Okay, so I've wound off a separate cone of white, and I've got the main cone there as well. I never wind them together anymore. I used to do that, and I got lots of problems with the yarn twisting everywhere, and then just not knitting properly. And when you're doing so many passes of these colours, it is important really to minimise any problems like that you might get. So I always have the separate cones on the floor. I bring them up into the mast together, and then knit them together onto the machine. Okay, so I'm just going to do 1 row to the left, slide lever 1, 5 in the main bed, 4 in the ribbon bed. This is slightly more of a struggle than normal. Then bring it past the turn mark, turn the machine on, set the pattern number, so red pattern thing is flashing, 528 and 1 CF if it's not on the first row, set the machine to KC2, and then I'm just going to go all the way to the right. Now it's set the needles that are going to knit on the first row. Now I'm going to put both part buttons in on the main bed and both part buttons on the ribbon bed. I'm going to set my slide leader to the middle position, and the lily knobs are going outwards. Okay, and then we just go back to the left. The needles are in forward the position will knit, and the needles that are and the alternate needles should knit on the ribbon. And I'm going to collect my white and then knit another 2 rows. And as you can see, the alternate needles, the needles in D position have knitted in white, and the alternate needles on the ribbon bed have knitted. So collect my black and knit another 2 rows. It's also important to note when doing, I should have said this already, but when doing a lot of the patterns that are inbuilt in Stitch World, you should press, if you're doing them as Jacquard, you should flick the number 7 lever to 6. Collect your colour. Now, important to note, to collect your colour, you go all the way past the turn mark, then click the other button, and then bring it back. This minimises problems with 2 colours being picked up at the same time. And I've just done the final row of that repeat. So now I'm going to change to the background yarn, bring all my part buttons, cancel all my part buttons, and go to slide lever 1, knit a few rows of normal knitting. Pardon me, I should have cancelled the lily buttons as well. Turn my machine off and cut the ends of yarn, take the weights off and remove from the machine. As you can see, there you have it. So it's a penguin design on one side and your 1-1 pattern on the other side. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I hope it's been helpful.